Namaskara, Lalita.
Yeah. Namaste. So, I'm going to start my class. You can keep your audio in mute. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighna Kurme Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaye Bhavaroginam Nidaye Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. In the last class and in the previous classes, so far we have seen Tattvabodha Purusharthaha Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Chaturvidha Purusharthaha we have seen. The last Purushartha what we saw was Moksha Purushartha. Moksha Purushartha. What is Moksha? The Moksha is freedom. How do you get freedom? The knowledge by which I recognize that I am the whole, I am the complete person, I am already free, I am not bound. That knowledge, Agam Brahma, Agam Purnaha, that knowledge it gives you the freedom. That is Moksha. Aham, that is me. I am the Nitya Vastu. I am already complete. I cannot be destroyed. So what I seek through all other pursuits is me only. So this is called Moksha. Okay. And how do you get this knowledge? From where do you get this knowledge? For knowledge, what do you have to do? There comes the Shastram. That Agam Purnaha, Agam Nitya Vastu Brahma, I am already free, I am complete. This knowledge can be gained only through Shastram. Shastram is only the means for gaining this knowledge, and this knowledge self is moksha. This knowledge gives you freedom, therefore this is the moksha. So for moksha purushartha, what are the means? There are no many means. There is only one means, that is the Shastra. We are going to see what are all the means. The means are called pramanam. In Sanskrit, we say the means are called pramanam. The means of knowledge are called, it's called pramanam. Okay. So before getting into pramanam, let us see the process, how we come to that knowledge of anything. Not talking about the knowledge of Atma, it's only here. I'm talking knowledge in general. Any human endeavor in gaining objects, say for example, in gaining any objects, that is, Kriya Shakti is always preceded by Jnana Shakti, the knowledge of that object. I have to know that object, then I have to cultivate a desire for that object, then I will engage on a certain activity to get that object. So this is how these three Shakti operates. Ichcha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, first is Jnana Shakti, then comes the Ichcha Shakti, then comes the Kriya Shakti. So by Kriya, I try to accomplish objects which are outside of me. So my objects of desire are outside. So I have to gain it. It involves Kriya. So therefore, the first is Jnana Shakti, is knowledge of the object. Then I have a desire to accomplish that object. Then I engage in certain activity to gain that. So this is how the three levels of Shakti it operates. In fact, this jnanam, this knowledge of the objects, that is the primary criteria for any human endeavors. For any human endeavors, this jnanam of that object is very important. And how do you get this jnanam knowledge? You get the knowledge of an object by appropriate application of the means of knowledge. Pramanam. By operating a particular or the appropriate pramanam, you gain the knowledge of the object. Any knowledge can be gained only by using an appropriate means of knowledge. The means of knowledge is called pramanam in Sanskrit, so I will use that word pramanam. So, suppose you have got a jnanam. Say for example, that in the Himalayas there is a valley called Flower Valley. That jnanam is there. That knowledge, jnanam you gained through books or through internet. Let us assume that that knowledge, that jnanam you have. Now we can have a desire to go there. You can go because it is a place in the Himalayas. You can go. So you want to go there. Therefore, Ichcha is there. And you can go there. So to go there, first of all, what you know, you must have the knowledge of that. Knowledge that there is a flower valley in the Himalayas. So the jnanam always precedes. How do you gain this knowledge? Of course, by either you come to know about this through internet or through books or from your friends. You get this knowledge. Okay. I will give you another example. Suppose if you take a flower, a rose flower. What is the color of this flower? The color of this flower is rose. It is a rose color, rose flower. It is rose in color. Now, here the knowledge of that flower is rose. Rose, that is the knowledge. How do you get this knowledge? You have to operate the right means of knowledge to gain the knowledge of the color of the flower. What is the right means of knowledge? You have to use your eyes. Therefore, eyes are the means of knowledge to get the knowledge of the flowers. Therefore, we can say now, for the right knowledge, right means of knowledge have to be used. Right pramanam have to be used. Because since the pramanam, it determines the validity of the knowledge, the pramanam are as much important as the knowledge itself. With the eyes, you can perceive the form or color of the objects. Right? So it is a pramanam. Eyes are pramanam, a means of knowledge to get the knowledge of the form or the color of an object. And ears, they are the pramanam for gaining the knowledge of the sound. Right? So for sound knowledge, you have to use ears. For form knowledge or for color knowledge, you have to use eyes. The perception of sound by eyes is not possible. The perception of form by ears, that is not possible. So therefore, we have to use the right pramanam to get the right knowledge. Therefore, the validity of the knowledge is determined by the pramanam. Okay, therefore, you have to use eyes for varna jnanam. Varna is color. Varna jnanam or rupa jnanam. Rupa is form. And you have to use ears for shabda jnanam. Shabda is sound. Here shabda is sound. For shabda jnanam, you have to use ears. For rupa jnanam or varna jnanam, you have to use eyes. So, from that it is clear that pramanam, that is the means of knowledge, it is the generator of knowledge. Pramanam is the generator of knowledge. Jnana janakam pramanam. What is the use of pramanam? Pramanam is jnana janakam. It generates knowledge. Like the eyes, like the ears. So through operating this means of knowledge, we get the knowledge of the object. Okay. In pramanam, in this process, there are 4 factors involved. There are 4 factors involved in gaining knowledge of an object, any object. What are they? Number 1, it is pramanam. The means of knowledge is very important. So because the means of knowledge determines the validity of the knowledge. Therefore, pramanam is very important. Therefore, pramanam is very important. The second one is prama. Prama is knowledge. Prama is knowledge. The third one is pramatru. Pramatru is the knower. One who wants to gain that knowledge. You see? Knower. Pramatru. Pramatru. You know this is prakarantaha. Pullinga pramatru shabdaha. This is an agent based know. Like tartru. So pramatru, the knower. So pramanam is the means of knowledge. Prama is the knowledge. Knowledge as such, knowledge. Pramatru is the knower of the knowledge. The last one is prameyam. Prameyam is the object of knowledge. So these are the 4 factors which are involved in gaining a knowledge of an object. Pramanam, prama, pramatru, prameyam. 4 factors. Very easy to remember. Pramanam is means of knowledge. Prama is knowledge. Pramatru, knower. Prameyam is the object of knowledge. Okay, fine. This pramanam, the word pramanam, you will see what each word is. Today I told you what does it mean. This pramanam, the word pramanam, it is derived from the dhatu ma dhatu. This ma dhatu, it is in the first gana. This is for the Sanskrit students I am saying. It may be a matter of interest for them, that's why. It is in this ma dhatu, it is in the fourth gana, it is in the third gana, it is in the fourth gana. The fourth gana ma is there. Ma, in the second gana ma is there. Ma, mane. It is the parasmaipadi dhatu. In the third gana ma is there. Again ma, mang dhatu, mane shabdecha. It is the third gana atmanipadi dhatu. Mang, mane, fourth gana atmanipadi dhatu. So in all this same dhatu, it is there in three ganas. In three ganas, this dhatu ma means to measure. If you don't understand this, others I'm talking about, if you don't understand this, what is dhatu, dana, doesn't matter. Ma is the verbal root. It means to measure. I'm talking about the etymology of this word pramanam. This is something very important to understand. So ma means to measure. From this dhatu, ma, only the word pramanam has come. Ma is to measure. So pramanam is that by which you measure, you gain the knowledge of an object. This pramanam. Prakarshena niyate iti pramanam. That by which you measure or gain the knowledge of an object is called pramanam. Okay. And the knowledge itself, that jnanam, it is called prama. And the knower of the knowledge is called Pramatra, and the object of knowledge is called Prameyam. So these four factors are there. Okay. So now we can say in simple Sanskrit sentence, Pramata Pramanena Prameyasya Pramam Prapnoti. Pramata, the knower, Pramanena, by applying the means of knowledge, right means of knowledge, Prameyasya, of the object, Prameyasya Pramam, knowledge of the object, Prapnoti, he gains. So the knower gains the knowledge of the objects by the means of knowledge. So this is what this sentence means. Pramata, Pramanena, Prameyasya, Pramam, Prapnoti. Okay, why do we discuss all those things? Because we are talking about pramanam. Because Shastram is a pramanam. Therefore, we should know what pramanam is. So that is how the connection is. So we are talking about pramanam. And we are going to see what all the different means of knowledge is in which, what is the position of Shastra. That we are going to see. Before that, we should know what pramanam is and what are the conditions a pramanam should fulfill to be a valid pramanam. What are the conditions a pramanam should fulfill to be a valid pramanam? If you operate with an invalid pramanam, the knowledge what you gain, it will be a wrong knowledge. Therefore, you have to use the right pramanam to get the valid knowledge. And what are the conditions for that a pramanam to be a valid pramanam? Number one, that pramanam should have subject matter of its own. Pramanam should have subject matter of its own. Like the example what I give. Is eyes can objectify form or colors. Eyes can give you either, it can give you rupa jnanam or varna jnanam. Rupa jnanam or varna jnanam. So that is the subject matter of the eye as a means of knowledge. Similarly, the subject matter of the ears is shabda jnanam. So pramanam must have subject matter of its own. This is number one. Then the scope of one pramanam must not be covered or overruled by the other means of knowledge. The scope of one pramanam must not be covered by other means of knowledge. In Sanskrit we say anadhikatvam. It is anadhikatvam. If one pramanam it covers the scope of other pramanam, then that pramanam is not the right pramanam. For example, what you can see only through eyes, I'll give this example. See, for example, this eyes can objectify, it can see the form, rupa. It can give you rupa jnana. Ears can give you shabda jnana. Okay. Suppose if eyes can give you shabda jnanam also, then what is the scope of this ear? Even the person who are deaf will be all right with the eyes, because eyes can give him rupa jnanam as well as shabda jnanam. Then the purpose of ears itself is it is wasted, right? There is no meaning for the ears to be there, and the ear will not be a pramanam, because eyes can do the job of ears also. Then why do we need the ears? You don't need that. So therefore, the scope of eyes will not covered by the ears. Similarly, the scope of ears will not be covered by the eyes. Therefore, they give different jnana. Eyes gives rupa jnanam, ears give you shabda jnanam. One cannot overrule the other. Both have got different spheres of application. This is called anadhikatvam in Sanskrit. Anadhikatvam. This is something important word. You can note it down. Anadhikatvam. Okay. And the third condition is it must not be available for neither approval nor disapproval for other means of knowledge. One means of knowledge should not be available for either approval or disapproval for other means of knowledge. This is something important. It is called abhaditattvam. It is abhaditattvam. The same example. Suppose if with ears, what you get through ears, that shabda jnana. Suppose if this jnanam can challenge the knowledge what you gain through eyes, rupa jnana, then it's a problem. Then the scope, what happens to this ears now interfering with this sphere of application of this eyes. So both pramanam will contradict each other. Then it can't be a pramanam. Right? Then ears cannot be a valid pramanam. Therefore the condition is it must not be one pramanam must not be available for approval or disapproval for other pramanam. This is very important for a pramanam to be a valid pramanam. This is called abhaditattvam. For a pramanam, to be valid, it doesn't need the support of other pramanam. If it has, it's a problem. Then it can't be a valid pramanam. This is the third point. Then the fourth one is the pramanam should have some usefulness to you. It should be sensible. It should be rational. It should be certain. It should give a certain knowledge. It should not be ambiguous, right? It should be meaningful. It should have usefulness. This is called arthavatvam. This is called arthavatvam or palakam. You can say palakam. Say fourth point. Arthavatvam. Some meaningful. Some not some. It should have meaningfulness or usefulness. That is important. Then the fifth one is, already we saw, pramanam should generate some knowledge. Jnana janakatvam. Jnana janakatvam. So these conditions is a pramanam should satisfy to be a valid pramanam. Anadhikatvam is important. Anadhikatvam is the scope of one pramanam should not be covered by other means of knowledge. One pramanam should either approve or disprove other means of knowledge. Abhaditattvam. and it should have usefulness, arthavatvam. A pramanam should have a subject matter of its own, and pramanam should generate some knowledge. So these are the 5 conditions for a pramanam to be a valid pramanam. We accept that there are 6 means of knowledge as valid. We accept 6 valid means of knowledge in general. Okay. So these 6 means of knowledge have to be applied depending on the nature of the object under investigation. Right? So this 6 means of knowledge we have to apply appropriately depending on the object. Depending on the object, depending on the situation also. So among this 6 means of knowledge, the 5 means of knowledge are at the disposal of human beings. It is with the Purusha, with the human beings. Therefore, these 5 means of knowledge are called Paurusheya Pramanam. I'm going to talk about what are that. What are those pramanam? What are those 6 pramanams? And what are those 5 pramanams which are called Paurusheya Pramanam? Why it is called Paurusheya Pramanam? Because these pramanams are operated by the human beings. Of course, all the pramanams are operated by the human beings. These pramanams are at the disposal of human beings. So, here human endeavor, human attempt is involved. So, therefore, it is Paurusheya Pramanam. Paurusheya Pramanani. Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani. These 5 pramanas. In fact, we handle all these means of knowledge in our day-to-day life. We apply the knowledge to gain to understand the nature of the object. That we do in our day-to-day life without knowing that it is what it is. So we are going to see how it is now. So what are those Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani? What are those 5 means of knowledge which we operate, which are available with us? Naturally, these 5 means of knowledge are available with us, which we use in our day-to-day life. What are those Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani? Number 1, it is Pratyaksham. Number 1, it is Pratyaksham. Pratyaksha Pramanam. We can always add the Pramanam word to that. Pratyaksha Pramanam. Number 2, it is Anumana Pramanam. Anumana Pramanam. Third one is Upamanam. Upamana Pramanam. Third one. Fourth one is Arthapattihi. Arthapattif Pramanam. Fifth one is Anupalabdif Pramanam. So Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Upamanam, Arthapattihi, Anupalabdihi. These are the 5 Pramanam. Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani, Etani, Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani. So these 5 Pramanas we will see one by one now. After that, we'll see how Shastram is a Pramanam. What is the scope of Shastram in what? That we are going to see. Scope of Shastram we are going to see later. So first we should have understanding of this means of knowledge. First one is Pratyaksham. What is Pratyaksham? Pratyaksha. Pratyaksham means is direct perception. Pratyaksham means direct perception. The knowledge what you Pratyaksha Pramanam is the means of knowledge that you gain by the means of knowledge which you use for perception to gain the knowledge of the object. So the direct and the immediate perception. The direct and the immediate perception of an external object. That is the knowledge of perception, that is the Pratyaksham. So this Pratyaksham, it is counted as a separate means of knowledge. How do you gain this Pratyaksha, Pratiksha jnanam, knowledge of this direct perception by operating the sense organs. What knowledge you gain by operating these sense organs to get a direct perception of the objects, this knowledge is not available for other means of knowledge. Like this example what I gave you, this that knowledge of an object what you gain, that is the form. The knowledge of the form of an object what you gain by seeing is not available for hearing. Right? So this is pratyaksham. I see the object, I see the flower, it is rose in color, and I get the knowledge of the object. It is pratyaksham, that perception. I hear the sound, and I can conclude it is a dog. It is a dog which is barking. That is pratyaksham. Similarly, smell also. So this pratyaksha pramanam, it is of 5 types. Pratyaksha pramanani panchadha bhavanti. It is not 5 types or 5-fold. It is 5-fold. What are they? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. We have got 5 sense organs. With 5 sense organs, we perceive the 5 sense objects which are outside of us. Shabda. Shabda means sound. How do you perceive sound? You use your ears. So it is Shabda, through ears you get Shabda Jnanam. It's a direct perception, Pratyaksham. Pratyaksha Shabda Jnanam. You gain through ears. Sparsha Jnanam. Sparsha is touch. So how do you get the knowledge of the touch? I mean, by touch you gain the knowledge of an object. Right? By touch you gain the knowledge of an object. That is Sparsha Jnanam. We will see examples one by one. Then Rupa Jnanam. Rupa Jnanam, that the knowledge what you gain by seeing through your eyes. That is Rupa Jnanam. The knowledge of taste, what you gain through your tongue. That is Rasa Jnanam. So therefore, that another Pratyaksham. Similarly, through Gandha, through nose, you gain the direct perception of the smell. So, Pratyaksha pramanani panchadha bhavanti. What are they? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So, you gain the knowledge of sound, and you gain the knowledge of the appearance of the object, and you gain the knowledge of the form of the object. You gain the knowledge of the taste of the object, smell of the object, by operating these 5 sense organs. Ears, skin, that is your whole body is for Sparsha Jnanam, and eyes, tongue, and nose. So these 5 sense organs are involved in gaining the knowledge of the external objects by perception, direct perception, pratyaksham. Therefore, these 5 are commonly put together under pratyaksham. All are pratyaksham only. When we say pratyaksha jnana means the knowledge what you gain by operating these 5 sense organs, they all come under pratyaksham. This is the knowledge is pratyaksha jnanam that you gain by operating these 5 sense organs. As I told before, this Varna Jnanam or the Rupa Jnanam is not available for other sense organs. It is available only for eyes. Similarly, the Rasa Jnanam, Rasa is taste, which is not available for other sense organs except tongue. If one knowledge is available for more than one sense organs, then it is not considered as a means of knowledge. Therefore, all the 5 sense organs are valid means of knowledge, and therefore they are commonly put together under the category pratyaksham, perception. The entire world, it consists of Pancha Bhuta, and this Pancha Bhuta, the 5 elements can be objectified by this Pancha Indriya. Pancha Indriya, this eyes, ears, nose, etc. Pancha Indriya. By Pancha Indriya, you can objectify the Panchabhuta, that is this world, and this knowledge of this objectified world is available only through this Panchendriya, sense organs. Therefore, these sense organs are called Pratyaksha Pramanani. So, by operating this means of knowledge, Pratyaksham, so what you gain is the knowledge of the objects which are outside. In fact, this Pratyaksham is the basis of all the other means of knowledge. All the other means of knowledge means for all the 6 pramanas, among this, they have got 6 pramanas, I said. For all these pramanas, Pratyaksham is the basic basis for all the means of knowledge. All the means of knowledge, they exist and they depend upon Pratyaksha for their operation. Therefore, this Pratyaksha Pramanam is called Moola Pramanam. It is called Moola Pramanam. So, without Pratyaksham, no other Pramanam can operate also. Okay, I mean, in the sense, for other Pramanam to exist, this is a Moola Pramanam. Right? Okay. So, this Pratyaksha Pramanam, I said this Pratyaksha Pramanam is for gaining the knowledge of the objects which are outside of me. This is one, right? It's not only for that. This Pratyaksha Pramanam, it is not only for gaining the objects, knowledge of the objects outside of me. It is also for another thing. What is that? This Pratyaksha Pramanam, it can be classified into 2. One is the Indriya Pratyaksha. Through Indriya, by the sense organs of perception, we gain the knowledge of the objects. Okay. Second one is Sakshi Pratyaksha. Second one is Sakshi Pratyaksham. For Indriya Pratyaksham, all the 5 sense organs backed up by the mind are involved for Indriya Pratyaksham. For Sakshi Pratyaksham, we will see what it is. So this Indriya Pratyaksham should be clear. So all the perceptions which takes place with the support of these 5 sense organs, they are the Indriya Pratyaksham. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vishayaha. All these 5 Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, 5, they are called Indriya Pratyaksham. Okay. In other words, we can say sensory perception or external perception, Indriya Pratyaksham. Okay. And Sakshi Pratyaksham is, suppose you have hunger, you have thirsty, you feel thirst. The perceptions of this hunger, anger also, pain, pleasure, love, hate, or desire, even the knowledge and ignorance of an object, your feelings, both emotional, your idea, imaginations, visualizations, time and place, everything is what? It's all Indriya Pratyaksham. Sakshi Pratyaksham. This, how do you know that you are hungry? You know it, right? That witness, that knowledge what you gain, that you being the witness, it is the Sakshi Pratyaksham, or we can say it is internal perception. Okay, so it is the Sakshi Pratyaksham. So now we have seen Pratyaksham is of 2 types. One is the Indriya Pratyaksham, other one is the Sakshi Pratyaksham. Indriya Pratyaksham is you operate the Indriyas and gain the knowledge. That is Indriya Pratyaksham. Sakshi Pratyaksham, you know it. You are the Sakshi. You know what is happening in you. Right? Even if you have a headache or your stomach pain, how do you know? You know it. So you being the witness or is there to gain that your feeling. of you, of your body, or your thoughts, right, or your emotions. So that is the Sakshi Pratyaksham. So this Pratyaksham is the important means of knowledge. This five sense organs, what happens is it receives data from the external objects and they obediently submit to the Pramata, the knower. Now the Pramata will decide, he will act upon the data. He will act upon the data and he will he will try to understand it. See, this indriya, it will obediently, it will submit the data. That's all. In perception, there is no free will involved on the part of the Pramata. In seeing an elephant as an elephant, you don't have any free will. The sense organs, it presents the data as it is. The Pramata has to see it. That's all. The Pramata has to see it. The Pramata has no role to play. When the Indriya operates, Pramata has no role to play. When Indriya operates and gives the knowledge takes place in the Pramata. So this is the Pratyaksham. Okay, this is the Pratyaksha Pramana. This is the Mula Pramanam. Okay. Now the second Pramanam. Second Pramanam is Anumana Pramanam. Second Pramanam is Anumana Pramanam. The word, the Anumana, here Mana, the word is the Mana from the root, Ma, to measure. Anumana means knowing after. That is the means by which the knowledge of something is inferred through reasoning. Anumanam, Tamil is only Anumanam. It is inference. So Anumana means inference. The sense organs, it present the data to the Pramata. Now the Pramata, what he will do? He can use his reasoning capacity to know it. Okay, and this, the knowledge what you gained by applying this Pramanam, Anumana Pramanam is an indirect knowledge. It is an indirect knowledge, or we can say mediate knowledge. The knowledge what you gain by applying the Pratyaksha Pramanam is a direct knowledge. The knowledge what you gain through Anumana Pramanam is indirect knowledge. It is called inference in Sanskrit. So inference is you ascertain the existence of an object, though you may not perceive the object directly. Inference is ascertainment of the existence of a thing, though it is not directly perceived. I'll give an example from the tradition. This is a stock example. This is what generally they give for Anumana Pramanam. You see a cloud of smoke on the top of the mountain. Okay, you see a cloud of smoke on the top of the mountain, and you conclude there must be a fire in the mountain. You didn't see the fire, you saw only the smoke. So now you concluded that there is a fire in the mountain. Parvataha Vandiman. Parvataha Vandiman means that there is a fire in the mountain. Parvataha Dhumavan. The mountain has smoke. Therefore, Parvataha Dhumavan. Parvataha what Vandiman. You didn't see the fire, you saw only the smoke. From that you concluded that mountain, that there is a fire in the mountain. How do you know? Because the presence of the cloud that confirms the presence of fire. Okay, why don't we conclude that mountain has rain or something? No, because it has smoke. Smoke was there. and you saw the smoke it's emerging from the mountain. So you concluded it has to be a fire, right? Though you didn't see the fire, you concluded that there must be a fire in the mountain. Because we know the simple fact, wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. This knowledge already we have. Wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. So the presence of fire and the subsequent presence of smoke, it has the cause and effect relationship. So wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. So fire is the cause and smoke is the effect. And you, in this example, you saw the effect, therefore you conclude the presence of fire. Right? You conclude the presence of the fire, which is the cause. So now we can say, yatra yatra vannihi tatra tatra dhumaha. Wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. This knowledge we have. This is called, in Sanskrit we say, vyapti jnanam. What is this? Vyapti jnanam. I'm saying, giving a lot of technical things. This is all important to understand. See? Pramana. What are the different types of pramana? So wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. Wherever wherever the smoke is, there must be fire. Yatra yatra vadnihi tatra tatra dhumaha. This is the vyapti jnana. Or in English, you can say this is invariable concomitance. These two things cannot separate it. One is the cause, other one is the effect. So the cause, the fire is there, therefore the effect smoke will be there. This jnanam, this knowledge is called vyapti jnanam. Invariable concomitance or invariable co-presence. You can say anywhere, anything. So you saw the smoke, the fire, and you concluded the mountain as fire. So smoke is the hetu, it is the cause, and fire is the effect, it is the sadhyam. Sadhyam is the effect. So this acknowledgement of this invariable concomitance, this vyaptik jnanam, it is not a belief. It is not a belief. It is our common perception. We have observed the same thing in our kitchen or in the yagashala, where we observe smoke. Why? Because fire is there. So already we have a prior experience, we have a perception of this vyaptik jnanam somewhere else. We have seen this in the kitchen, or we have seen in the yajnashala, where the fire is there and smoke also is there. So smoke is there, therefore that jnanam we got from this incidence. So we conclude that yatra yatra vannihi tatra tatra dhumaha. Wherever the fire is there, smoke will be there. So that knowledge we have. And when I saw this smoke on the top of the mountain, I concluded there must be fire. This is called anumana. So, and this vyaptik jnanam, this vyaptik jnanam, what I had, it supports my anumana. So this drishtanta, this example what I gave, that is, I observed smoke in the yajnashala. Why? Because fire is there, right? Or in the kitchen, I observed this fact. So this drishtanta, this example, my observation, it gave me the vyaptik jnanam, and this vyaptik jnanam, I apply it, right? Suppose if you give me another drishtanta where this vyaptik jnanam is contradicted, then this anumanam will lose its validity. Suppose if you can give me some drishtanta, some example where smoke is there without fire, then this anumana will lose its validity. Then there need not be. Then you can say there need not be fire, because I have another drishtanta, another vyaptik jnanam is there where there is no fire but smoke is there. Therefore, you can say my perception, my anumana, my operating this anumana pramana, it is not correct, you can say. But there are no such examples. We know that wherever the fire is, smoke is there. That vyaptik jnanam we have. So with that vyaptik jnanam, my anumana that there is a fire in the mountain is valid, right? So this is an example. So this is anumanam we apply in our day-to-day life. In so many things we apply, right? This is the anumanam. This is the inferential knowledge. For this anumana pramanam, this inference, what you need the perceptual evidence. You must see the smoke, perceptual evidence, that is the hetu, and you must have vyapti jnanam. Vyapti jnanam is invariable co-presence or concomitance. And through vyapti jnanam, you come to a conclusion, siddhanta. So these three things are present. One is the hetu, other one is the vyaptihi, other one is the siddhanta. Siddhanta is conclusion. Perceptual evidence, that is the hetu. Invariable concomitance, that is the vyaptihi, vyapti jnanam, knowledge of the invariable concomitance. And the third one is conclusion, siddhanta. So these three things are there in gaining the knowledge through anumana. Okay. In fact, we apply this anumana in our daily life. Even these doctors, they apply this for diagnosing the disease, right? They have police, they know the forensic department, they applied this anumana to investigate the cases. Scientists also apply this anumana. So we all apply this anumana pramana in our day-to-day life to gain the knowledge. It is a valid means of knowledge, anumana. Okay. So this is anumana pramanam. Okay. The third pramanam is arthapattihi. Third pramanam is arthapattihi. Arthapattihi is in anyata anupapattihi, arthapattihi. What you anyata anupapattihi? Anupapattihi is this knowledge. You gain the knowledge through anyata. Through anyata means you can say this is arthapatti, this presumption by it's a two-step inference. So you, based on the facts available for your immediate cognition, you arrive at the unknown facts of a thing. I'll explain this with an example. See, anumanam is an indirect knowledge. This arthapatti is also indirect knowledge. This arthapatti is a same like anumana, but it is a two-step anumana, two-step inference. I'll give the stock example. You will understand what is this arthapatti. Arthapatti in English we say presumption or postulation or supposition. You can say arthapatti. This is a valid pramanam. We apply this arthapatti also, in fact, more in our daily life. I'll give the stock example. You will understand what it is. So, Devadatta, it doesn't eat during the day. Right? This is one statement, one fact, one statement of fact. Devadatta, it doesn't eat during the day. The second thing is, Devadatta, it doesn't lose weight also. So Devadatta doesn't eat during the day. The second thing is, he doesn't lose weight also. So I observe him the whole day, daytime, and he doesn't eat. He continues not to eat for days together. I observe him. But in spite of not eating, he doesn't lose weight. That is also a fact, another fact. If a person doesn't eat the whole day for days together, what will happen? Definitely he will put down his weight. It is a known thing, right? But Devadatta doesn't eat during the day. That is my pratyaksha. I observe that. And he doesn't lose weight. That is also another pratyaksha. Therefore, if he doesn't eat during the day and doesn't lose weight, therefore he must be eating during the night. Because night time, I am not available to watch him. So, therefore, we can arrive at the fact that Devadatta must be eating during the night. It is a simple logic. Right? So, he has not put down his weight. Therefore, And also I am not seeing him in the night. Therefore, I can conclude that Devadatta must be eating in the night. Okay. If Devadatta has put down weight because of not eating the whole day, then I can use Anumana Pramana. I can infer he doesn't eat during the day and he has lost weight. Because he doesn't eat during the day, that is my observation. Therefore, he has lost weight. That is Anumana Pramana. But Anumana Pramana, therefore he has become thin. But here, Devadatta doesn't lose weight. Therefore, it is a two-step inference. Anyata Anupapatti, you gain by the other way. You gain the knowledge of a thing by the other way. That is called Arthapatti. So two steps are involved. So one is two facts are there, and with the two facts, I come to a conclusion. I infer logically. I deduct logically. Yeah, another fact. That is called Arthapatti. In fact, I can give another example. You go to a doctor. The doctor asks you to take all the results. So by seeing the results, he will negate one by one. Your blood level, blood pressure, in blood, all these things are okay, and X-ray is okay, this is okay. So there must be some other problem, right? There must be some other. The doctor also applies this. Even he's seeing your X-ray also. Seeing that your X-ray, doctor says you have got a fracture in your bone. How does he come to the conclusion? He doesn't see physically your fracture. He cannot see that, right? But he comes to the conclusion that you have a fracture. How? Through the X-ray or through the scan. So every year this Arthapatti is involved. So what is Arthapatti? Is another valid pramana. It is a separate means of knowledge. So what is arrived by Arthapatti? You cannot arrive by Anumana. Therefore, it is a separate means of knowledge. I can give one more example. You will understand better. Suppose the whole day was hot and the road was dry. The next day morning, when I get up and came out and saw the whole street was wet, nobody would have poured buckets of water on the road, right? Definitely, if only my house is wet, then I can conclude somebody would have poured water. But the whole road was wet. Therefore, I can conclude it must have rained in the night. I have not seen the rain, and now I am seeing the road is wet. Therefore, I can conclude it must have rained in the night. So this is the another example. Another example, one more example I'll give you. See, Devadatta, I'm taking the same example, same name, the stock example, Devadatta. Devadatta did not come by the school bus. He did not come by school bus. I was there in the bus. He was not there. He was missing. And my, my friends also did not see him in the railway station or in the bus stop. But Devadatta, he was there before me in the school. How did he come? Therefore, I can conclude he must have come by car. Somebody would have given him a lift, would have come by car. I can infer. This is called the Arthapatti. It's a two-step inference. In fact, we may not aware of all this pramanam, what we apply in daily life, but it is there. But all this pramanam we apply. Okay, so we have seen so far pratyaksha pramanam. Pratyaksha, under pratyaksha we have indriya pratyaksha, sakshi pratyaksha. Pratyaksha pramanam, that is a moola pramanam. Moola pramanam is it is a basis pramanam on which all the that gives that pramanam only we can other pramanams can operate. In that sense, it is a moola pramanam. That's why I use the word moola pramanam. Pratyaksha pramanam we have seen. Anumanam pramanam, inference we have seen. And Arthapatti we have seen. Now the fourth pramanam. It is the Upamana pramanam. Upamana is comparison. Upamana is comparison. Upasamipe niyate iti upamanam. Upasamipe. Upa means close, proximity. Samipe. Samipe niyate iti upamanam. That is, you gain the knowledge of an object by bringing closer the another similar object, not physically, in your imagination, right? At in your cognition level, you bring another object to understand the other object. For example, if you happen to see a special type of ox in the forest, you observe a special type of ox in the forest. So when you come back home, you tell your child that you have seen something similar to the cows, right? Something similar to the cows tied at the backyard, right? So now a child will understand. So there must be something similar like the cow in the forest, which is a wild animal. It is like a cow, but it is not a cow. So by comparison, the child gets the knowledge of the animal what you saw, right? I mean, in fact, you compare and give the knowledge to your child. Okay, I'll give another example. I went to the Guyana Zoo. There I saw this manatee, Manetti. It's a mammal. It's a mammal living in the water. It is not available in India, and you can't. It's one of the endangered species. So now I want to tell you how there is something called manatee. How will I convey? I can say that manatee is like a cow, and it has got two fins are there, and its nose is like slightly curved, and it's like a flat nose like a pig. So you can imagine there's something called some sea creature called manatee, which is like a cow. So you will gain the knowledge of that what I mean by my comparison, right? I say it is like a cow and all these things, and the descriptions I'm giving. So by upamanam you get knowledge. Therefore, upamanam also is a valid means of knowledge. So here in this, what you do is you compare the two objects in terms of similarities observed, right? Therefore, this is upamanam is a praman. That's why you say upa samipe niyate. That you come to know by bringing something closer cognitively. That is the upamana pramanam. Okay. What is the next pramanam? The next pramanam is anupalabdhihi. The next pramanam is anupalabdhihi. Anupalabdhihi is na upalabdhihi. It is the anupalabdhihi, non-apprehension. It means non-apprehension. That is perception. It is non-perception of a thing which doesn't exist. Anupalabdhihi is non-perception of a thing which doesn't exist. This is also a valid pramanam. This pramanam, in fact, is as much valid as the other pramanam, pratyaksha pramanani. Here, for example, suppose if I say, karatale gataha nasti. Karatale gataha nasti. There is no pot in my hand. My hand is empty. I don't have anything in my hand. Right? So as a knower, you are a knower. You are aware of the things, both perception and non-perception of what I have in my hand. Okay. So you know what I have and what I don't have. What I don't have, I said, karatale gataha nasti. There is no pot in my hand. So do you see the pot in my hand? No. The absence of pot is by what? I don't have anything in my hand. So the absence of the pot that you come. I have got something in my hand. Say I have got mobile in my hand, and suppose if I say now there is karatale gataha nasti. There is no pot in my hand. Yes, there is no pot in my hand. I have my mobile in my hand. So the absence of the pot and the presence of mobile, right? It gives you the jnanam. It gives you the jnanam. The perception of mobile in my hand, it leads to the conclusion that there is no pot in my hand. Right? So there is no pot in my hand. This is anupalabdhi, non-apprehension of an thing, an object. In fact, suppose you go to a doctor, say you got some pain in your leg. The doctor asks you to take X-ray. After X-ray, he says there is no fracture. There is no fracture in your leg. How does he say that? This is non-apprehension. The absence of the fractures is the knowledge of that is gained through X-ray. This is the anupalabdhi pramanam. Anupalabdhi means the knowledge of the absence of a thing. That is the anupalabdhi, the knowledge of an absence of a thing. It is the anupalabdhi. Here also knowledge is involved, right? Therefore, it is a valid means of knowledge. Sense organs, generally, it will pick up only things which exist and which are available for perception. The absence of the perception of pot or something else, it in its place by the sense organs, it leads to the conclusion that in this example what I give, the pot is not in my hands, right? I have mobile in my hand, I have no pot in my hand. So this is a distinct pramanam. In fact, this pramanam is also used widely in our day-to-day life. You suppose you go to a doctor you have a headache. This headache could be because of so many reasons. They say it is because of 2,500 reasons. It could be because of your eyes or sinusitis or migraine, or it could be because of a regular head bath, or maybe because of the problems of the teeth. So the doctor, what he does is he narrows down the cause by eliminating the absence of other symptoms, right? But absence of other symptoms he eliminates, and it comes down to the final cause. So this is the anupalabdhi pramanam, the recognition of the absence of a thing. That itself is a knowledge. Therefore, anupalabdhi is also a pramanam. So far we have seen 5 means of knowledge. These 5 means of knowledge are operated by the human beings. That the human effort is involved. Human effort in the sense, human beings you need not learn. It is naturally given to human beings. You gain knowledge of the external world through these 5 means of knowledge. Pancha Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani. Now the last Pramanam, that is the Shabda Pramanam. That is the Shastra Pramanam. Shastra is nothing but the Samuha of Shabda. Shabda Samuha. So Shabda Pramanam. Shabda, that is the Shabda Pramanam. That is the Shastra Pramanam, which is the last Pramanam in the 6 means of knowledge. Shad Pramanani, Shabda Pramanam. And this Pramanam, Shabda Pramanam, is called Apaurisheya Pramanam, which means the knowledge generated by this Pramanam it is out of scope for the available human instruments of knowledge. It is out of scope for the available Paurusheya Pramanam. Apaurusheya means it is not within the human range. Here, with any amount of Purusha Prayatnam, Yatanam, it is not possible to get the knowledge. With any amount of Purusha Prayatnam, it is not possible to gain the knowledge. You can gain only through one Pramanam, that is Shabda Pramanam, that is Shastra Pramanam. Where is that Pramanam? That Pramanam is outside of me. Pramanam is outside. This Pramanam is not available for human beings. Then how do you get it? Not what I mean available for human beings means it's not within the human range. Somebody has to give you this means, this knowledge revealed by that means of knowledge. That this unless the Ishvara chooses to reveal this knowledge, it is not available for human beings. Ishvara reveals this knowledge to the Yogya Purusha, that is Rishihi, and they, out of compassion, they transfer it to the disciples, thus forming a parampara. So, this jnanam, it is transferred through word, through shabda, and therefore this is a shabda pramanam. So, transferred from one disciple to another disciple, and that person becomes a guru to the another disciple. So, it is transferred through words. Therefore, the words are meant for listening. Therefore, it is a karna parampara. Okay, the word, this Veda, the word itself, it derives from the dhatu vid. It means to know. Veda, by mean, it is not the book. It is not any printed stuff or a manuscript. Veda means knowledge, and this knowledge, it was transmitted orally in the tradition. Therefore, you have to have the punya to come to access to this knowledge. Therefore, I said it is not within the human, within the human range. So you need a lot of punya to gain access to this knowledge. So, since the Veda is available in the form of a printed material, there is a general misconception that Veda is also a book, like any other books. No. If it is a book, at least you can go through the book and gain the knowledge of what the Veda says. But Veda is not a book. Then what is Veda? How can Veda be called a pramana? Okay. First, we should understand what a book is. A book is nothing but a collection of words. Shabdatmakam grantaha. If a book is there, the book must have an author. And the author, by using words, he conveys certain knowledge. But unlike Vedas, what happens? The author of the book, he has got the knowledge of the subject matter through other means of knowledge. He would have got the knowledge of the subject matter through other means of knowledge and presented the knowledge in the form of words. That is how a book is written by an author. For example, a book on gravity, suppose say it is written by Newton. That book consists of the facts discovered by Newton. He has described in his own words. So the words of that book, it convey the knowledge of gravity to the readers. Right? Though when you read the books, though the words are the carriers of knowledge, it cannot be called a pramanam because the author Newton has got the knowledge of gravity through the application of other means of knowledge, pratyaksham and anumanam. And he has presented this knowledge in the form of a book. So the knowledge can be pratyaksha and anumana when conveyed in words, either in written or oral form. Even in oral form, it cannot become a pramanam because it violates the status of being a pramanam. A pramanam should not cover the other means of knowledge. It should not, that we saw, right? Anadikatvam, abhaditvam. So it violates the status of being a pramana. So no Veda is not a book. If it is a book, then it cannot be a pramana, right? Okay. Why? Because in this type of knowledge, or this like this gravity, for example, it can be verified by the reader by application of pratyaksha and anumana. Right? You can verify the facts by the application of pratyaksha and anumana. Therefore, any book other than Veda is nothing but pratyakshadi pramanam. It is all only pratyakshadi pramanam only, not shabda pramanam. This must be understood. It is not shabda pramanam. The words of those books do not produce any special knowledge. Right? The words of those books do not present any special knowledge which is not verifiable by pratyakshadi pramanam. For pramanam to be valid, the important condition is it should not be approved or disproved by any other means of knowledge. That is the primary condition we saw. Okay. Therefore, Now the words of the Vedas, Veda as a whole, it includes Vedanta also. That's why I use the Vedas as a whole. The words of the Vedas, they are not the statements of experience born out of pratyakshadi ramanani. The Vedas, the words of the Vedas, they are not born of any some mystical experiences or any experiences, right? Born out of other pramana. That is why the Veda itself is a distinct pramanam, which is not available for verification by other pramanam. Since the knowledge conveyed by the words of the Veda are not merely not the words of the experience of some rishis. No, it is not the experience of some rishis, like the book on gravity by Newton. No, that knowledge of the Veda itself is meant to give you, as a Shabda, it's meant to give you a knowledge which is a distinct means of gaining knowledge. So Vedas are Swata Pramanam. In this Veda is the only source for both the rituals, Karma Kanda, as well as the Jnana Kanda. Both the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, they are not very available for verification of other means of knowledge. Therefore, the whole Veda is looked upon as a Pramana. Right? So, if Veda carries knowledge produced by Anubhava, by your experience, then it cannot be the Pramana. Generally, there is a misconception that Veda contains wisdom which can be gained through Anubhava, experience. Therefore, we want to verify by experience and experiments what the Veda says, which is impossible. Since Veda being Swata Pramana, it doesn't carry any information gained from other Pramana. Because of this reason, there is no proof of Vedic teaching to be given by another experience. You don't have to apply other Pramanas to gain what the Veda says. Veda itself is a Pramana, Shabdam Pramana. So when you study the Veda, it is meant to give you a knowledge. How do we know then Vedic knowledge is the right knowledge? Since Veda is a Pramanam, it means whatever it gives us knowledge. There is no question of proving or disproving it. Every Pramanam is valid by itself, Swata Pramanam. The same way, Veda is also a Pramanam, it is Swata Pramanam. That we must understand. So, now this what Veda says, it need not be proved by some experience, right? If we fail to understand this fact, then the Vedanta, this Veda would be just a book. That's all. And this what the Veda says has to be approved by some experience. So it becomes we need experience. We have gained the knowledge of what the Veda said. Now we will be waiting for experience. No. What the Veda says, it is not meant for experience. What the Veda gives itself is knowledge. That knowledge that gives you, that makes you understand that you are what you are searching all your life. So in that sense, Veda itself it gives an independent pramana because it gives independent knowledge. What Veda says should not be, it is not available for verification by the other pramana. Veda should not be verified by scientific facts. If it can be proved by science, then what the Veda says is nothing but an information. So Veda will lose its pramanatva. No, it is not like that. So, suppose if you find some statement, it is in line with the scientific facts, then that is not the Tattvarya of the Veda. That is not the Tattvarya of the Veda. The Tattvarya of the Veda have to be understood. So, for that you need teaching. The words of the Veda have to be explained by the teacher. Therefore, now, when you see, so Veda being an independent pramana, it has all the qualifications now. Anadhigata, Abhadita, Arthavat, Jnana Janakam. Veda itself gives Jnana Janakam. It gives knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of yourself. Knowledge of who am I? My Swarupa. What Swarupam? Therefore, Veda is not scientific, and therefore science cannot approve it, and science cannot disprove it. And even if you find certain facts, scientific facts in Veda, that is not the Tattva. Okay, so Veda as an independent means of knowledge, it presents Ishvara, that Brahma as the cause of the world. Jagat Karanam Brahma. As an independent means of knowledge, Veda presents Jagat Karanam Brahma from Asi. You are that Jagat Karanam Brahma. It says to the Pramatru, to the knower, that you are that Jagat Karanam Brahma. You are the cause of the world. You are that Brahman. So you and Brahman both are equated. This is called the Mahavakya. It is like no, the E is equal to mc square. It is the Mahavakya Maha equation. And this is the knowledge what the Veda gives, and that is not verifiable for other means of knowledge. You cannot operate through Pramana to gain that knowledge. Only the Veda gives, and Veda is Shabdam. It is words. And the words have to come from the teacher. The teacher will will operate the words, will unlock the meaning of the words of the Veda and gives you the knowledge. Veda is not only for this. In fact, in Veda it's a pramana for Papa Punya. How do you know Papa Punya? What is the means of knowledge to know the Papa Punya? Only Veda. Only through Veda we come to know there are Papa Punya, there are Swarga, and there are karmas are there, certain rituals are there, gaining which you get certain result. For example, if you do Putrakameshti Yajna, you gain son. If you do Kariri Yajna, you get rain. If you do Jyotishtoma Yajna, you go to Swarga. All these are not available for other means of knowledge. Only through Veda we come to know. Therefore, Veda as whole is a Swata Pramanam. It's an independent means of knowledge. And knowledge, what you gain through Veda, is not available for other means of knowledge. And the end portion of the Veda is Vedanta, which talks about the Atma. Not only the end portion, in fact, that this Atma, the topic about Atma, Jiva, Ishvara, Aikyam, it is scattered all over the Vedas, but you will find exclusively in the end portion of the Vedas, which is called Vedanta or the Upanishad. And the Upanishad, the teaching is not given in a systematic way. Therefore, before getting into the Upanishad, we should read Prakarana Grantha. In Prakarana Grantha, Acharya has made it easy for the reader to start with. They have presented all the prakriyas, the methods which are adopted by the Upanishads to drive home the knowledge in a very systematic way. They have presented, and therefore, before getting into any Vedantic text, any Upanishad, we must read. We must have an idea of the topics discovered in some of the Prakarana Grantha. And the first is a simple Prakarana Grantha, which is very easy and has got simple definition, is Tattvabodha. That we are going to see in detail, verse by verse, and if possible, the meaning word by word meaning from the next class. So with this thing, we'll stop here. It took a lot of time because I want to complete this, what Pramanam is. So you have got some idea about what Pramanam is. Here we stop, and for next class we will get into the Tattvabodha text. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry for it took a lot of time, but I don't want to